Hello, and welcome to the 2015 Housing Performance Scores and Affordable Housing Production Survey and Scoring Tool online tutorial. This brief introduction to the revised Met Council methodology for calculating the housing performance scores and completing the survey will take approximately 15 minutes to complete. During the tutorial, the following topics will be covered. Background on changes to the guidelines for priority funding for housing performance, or the methodology for calculating the scores, which represent the first comprehensive update since 2002, some key differences between the previous guidelines and the 2015 updated guidelines, an introduction to the new auto-calculating survey and scoring tool, which will replace the previous Affordable Housing Production Survey, a short primer on how to interpret the results of your housing performance scores or add additional housing developments, program activities, or services, and contact information for questions about your housing performance score or the revised methodology. The revised methodology for calculating scores was significantly informed by the work of a subgroup of the Housing Policy Plan Work Group, which met several times in early 2015 and included local city staff and representatives from counties, Minnesota Housing, the advocacy community, and more. In addition, council staff in the subgroup, recognizing that substantial changes to the methodology could potentially cause some communities' score to rise and others to fall, recommended that a hold harmless provision be put in place. Under this provision, for the 2015 transitional year, no community's score will drop below 80% of the average of their last 5 years' housing performance score. The Council also committed to reviewing and calibrating the methodology every 2 years, beginning in 2016, to ensure it is performing as intended. Overall, the subgroup gravitated toward the following themes: that the previous methodology gave too much credit for existing housing stock, though this remains an important indicator; that the existing guidelines put too high a premium on tools and policies on the books but not in recent use; that more credit should be given for the most difficult to provide housing efforts, such as new construction of units affordable to households at or below 30% of area median income; that all communities should feel they have a legitimate opportunity to earn a good score or to improve their score; and that the process for calculating the scores should be less subjective, more transparent, and as administratively unburdensome as possible, while also aiming to be more comprehensive. So let's take a look at some of the key differences between the previous and revised guidelines. Under the previous guidelines, up to 37 out of 100 points were available for characteristics of the existing housing stock, and 63 for local initiatives to facilitate housing development or preservation, while under the new guidelines, again out of 100 points, up to 25 are available for existing stock, up to 25 for housing programs and activities, and up to 50 points for new construction and/or rehabilitation and preservation activities. The exact points available in each community for the new construction and rehab preservation categories will be adjusted by community designation or forecasted growth, such that faster growing communities have a larger relative share of the 50 points available for new construction efforts, while older communities with more aging stock will have a greater share available to efforts in rehabilitation and preservation of key housing assets. The new guidelines also use a different approach to income targets. While the old guidelines used a single area median income, or AMI, threshold to identify affordable and market rate housing, the revised guidelines, in line with the 2040 Housing Policy Plan, assess affordability in 3 income bands: housing affordable to households earning 30% of AMI or below, housing affordable to households earning between 31 and 50% of AMI, housing affordable to households earning between 51 and 80%, and, for the purposes of the housing performance scores only, also including owner-occupied housing activity up to 115% of AMI. With these expanded AMI bands, greater differentiation is possible between housing opportunities that are the most difficult to provide and opportunities that, while affordable, are easier to produce based on certain local market dynamics. Points under the revised guidelines reflect this, with the greatest number of points available to the developments and activities serving the lowest end of the AMI spectrum and scaled downward from there. The approach to fiscal tools and local official controls has also changed, with the ability to list all tools used for up to 10 new construction projects completed in the last 10 years, and up to 10 preservation projects in the last 7 years and/or rehabilitation projects in the last 3. Eliminating the prior survey's limitation on listing fiscal tools will allow cities to more accurately show the tools in use and allow the council to assess what tools are most effective. Finally, the new survey provides an optional narrative section where respondents can highlight special efforts, projects, programs, or activities that are otherwise not measured by the survey. Similar to the fiscal tools and local official controls, this will help develop a better regional picture of effective tools for creating and preserving affordable housing. Please make note of this contact information for questions or comments regarding the revised guidelines for priority funding for housing performance, or the Affordable Housing Production Survey and Scoring Tool. And now, please move on to the second part of this online tutorial.